Good evening. My name is William Watkins, Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students, and it is my honor to declare the opening of the California State University Northridge Commencement Ceremony for the College of Engineering and Computer Science and the College of Science and Mathematics. I ask that you all now please rise and remain standing while the CSUN Jazz A Band, under the direction of Professor Matt Harris, plays the national anthem. Professor Shoshana Stern and graduates from the Deaf Studies Department will be signing, accompanied by vocalist Sarah Salazar.
1, 2.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. In the rocket's red glare, almost bursting in air, they flew through the night. That our flag was still there, was it us that star-spangled banner wave? O'er the living and the hope of the brave.
Thank you. Please be seated. How about another cheer for Sarah and the band? Celebrating this occasion with us this evening and seated on the platform are members of the President's Extended Cabinet, College Dean Dr. S.K. Ramesh, Associate Dean Dr. Robert Ryan, and all of the department chairs from the College of Engineering and Computer Science. Also, College Dean Dr. Jerry Stinner, Associate Dean Dr. Robert Espinoza, and all of the department chairs from the College of Science and Mathematics. In addition, this evening we have CSU trustee at CSUN Professor Stephen Stepanek, Faculty President Dr. Adam Swinson, and CSUN alumnus Ronald Bloom. Will all the members of the platform party please rise and be recognized? Thank you. And now it's my great privilege to present to you the President of California State University Northridge, Diane Harrison.
Thank you, Dr. Watkins. Good evening, everyone. This is a celebration. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. As president of this institution, it is my distinct honor to welcome you to the 2016 California State University Northridge Commencement Ceremony for the 2015 and 2016 graduates of the College of Engineering and Computer Science and the College of Science and Mathematics. On behalf of CSUN's distinguished faculty and staff, I am delighted to congratulate the graduates here today. Each of you has demonstrated perseverance to attain your goals, and by persevering, you have begun to learn what you are capable of. But this is only the beginning. Please take with you your ability to persevere and the self-confidence it fosters as you start the next chapter of your life. Take with you the knowledge that you can achieve your dreams. You can make a difference, but it won't be easy, and it will take hard work. To promote positive change in the world on issues of importance to you, you need to use your skills in critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, but also being compassionate and appreciating and respecting others' perspectives and advocating for social justice. Promote inclusivity in your communities as you did at CSUN. Model social discourse, stand against discrimination, and value and respect diversity and the common humanity shared by us all. Please continue to use your skills to support tolerance and strive to understand others' views. The quality of our future depends on it. I am asking you to make a difference in the world because I know you can, and you will. Your education at CSUN has equipped you for this task. I have every confidence in you, and please know that I am extremely proud of each and every one of you. Allow me to thank the faculty and staff who are here today to share in the pride of all of your achievements. CSUN's faculty and staff have played a significant role in supporting your success both in and out of the classroom, and their efforts to advance student excellence and the university's mission make them the heart of this university. Much of your experience at CSUN was shaped by the generosity of those who came before you, by alumni who have supported scholarships, enhanced programs, and improved the facilities that you learned in every day. And this year, it was very heartening to see nearly 6,400 of you graduates proudly following their example by contributing to the senior gift, and I thank you for that. And finally, I want to acknowledge the incredible contributions of your families and friends, many of whom are with us today in celebration. To the parents, and the helicopters. There is helicopter parents, you know. Maybe they're there. To the brothers, the sisters, families, friends, and loved ones, the university community and I thank you for entrusting the minds and futures of your graduates to CSUN. We are privileged to have them as part of the CSUN family. Our graduates could not have succeeded without you. We are proud to salute you and ask that you now stand for a well-deserved round of applause. All of the families and friends and supporters, please stand and let us applaud you. Thank you. The College of Engineering and Computer Science and the College of Science and Mathematics would like to give special recognition to those students who have demonstrated outstanding scholarship while at the university. These students may be identified by the honors medallions, cords, and sashes they are wearing. Will those students who are graduating with academic honors please rise and receive our applause? Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. S.K. Ramesh, Dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science, and Dr. Jerry Stenner, Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics, to the podium to highlight a few students who are deserving of additional recognition and who serve as examples of the excellence and the extraordinary achievement that can be found throughout the CSUN student body.
Good evening. Thank you, President Harrison. My name is Ramesh, Dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science.
And my name is Jerry Stinner, Dean for the College of Science and Mathematics, and it is our great pleasure to present to you today 3 extraordinary students who deserve additional recognition. Please rise when we call your name and stay standing while we speak briefly about your accomplishments.
Thank you, Dean Stinner. The first student is Dilbert Stewart. Dilbert Stewart has been a full-time student for 8 years. He was 37 years old when he began his academic career at the College of the Canyons in Valencia, California, where he earned an associate's degree in mathematics and engineering. He has now completed his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering at California State University, Northridge. Dilbert transferred to CSUN in the fall of 2013 as a participant in the college's nationally recognized U.S. Department of Education funded Attract, Inspire, Mentor, and Support Students, or AIM Squared, and soon became a valued member of our student community. He has mentored other AIM Squared students as they transferred to CSUN from local community colleges. He has worked as a research assistant in our Haas lab, providing training and support for his fellow students as they manufactured complex parts for their senior design projects. As the ASME Student Section President, Dilbert has also expanded the role of this student organization into additional outreach and community service activities. Congratulations, Dilbert, on your own graduation, and thank you for the impact you have made on our college and during your time with us. Congratulations. Please remain standing as I introduce you our next honoree, Jonathan Castillo. I met Jonathan for the first time about 4 years ago when he came into my office wanting to be a budding freshman in computer science. He has the unique honor of being on the 2016 Dean Scholar for both the College of Engineering and Computer Science and the College of Science and Mathematics. As a double major in computer science and mathematics, Jonathan earned a CSUN GPA of 3.96. But he has done more than just earn good grades. Since the summer after his freshman year, Jonathan has worked part-time at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena as a software developer with the Cassini Ground Systems team. For the past 2 years, he has contributed to CSUN's own academic CubeSat project with Professor Charlene Katz and Jay Flynn from the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. Last summer, he performed research in computer science at Tufts University in Boston under the guidance of mathematics professor Dr. Saba Toth. He has also been an active participant in the Matador Math Society here at CSUN, and at present, he is part of a mathematics research group under the supervision of Dr. Daniel Katz. Jonathan's academic journey is just beginning. In the fall, he will enter a PhD program in computer science at UC Davis with an emphasis on programming languages. Congratulations, Jonathan. We're really proud of your achievements. Dean Stinner.
Thank you, Ramesh. So I'd like to recognize Jake Reschke, the college. The College of Science and Mathematics would like to recognize Jake Reschke, the winner of the Mac I. Johnson Memorial Research Award for Outstanding Graduate Student. Mac Johnson was here for over 20 years, and he was a very special individual. I still carry his picture with me in my wallet. This award is given to a graduate student who has excelled in their academic achievements, conducted substantial research, and has also been accepted into a PhD program in the sciences or mathematics. Jake has achieved all of these accomplishments and much, much more. Both as an undergraduate and graduate student at CSUN, he has finished among the top of his class. Today, he celebrates with us today with a perfect GPA of 4.0. Jake was recently accepted into several PhD programs and has chosen to attend UC California, Davis, which has a strong emphasis in mathematical physics, Jake's primary research area. UC Davis has also offered him a generous stipend and tuition remission package. As both an undergraduate and graduate student, Jake conducted research with faculty in mathematics and physics, where he has applied mathematical tools to resolve a wide array of problems. Notably, one of his projects resulted in a paper published in the Journal of Mathematical Physics, and another manuscript will soon be submitted for publication. Jake is also a teaching associate for 4 courses in mathematics, a tutor for 2 courses in physics, and as the co-creator and president of a club on campus. In every way, Jake is an outstanding student that the CSUN campus community, and especially the College of Science and Mathematics, can be proud of. Again, congratulations to this year's Johnson Award winner. We wish Jake all the success he deserves for the future.
And those are just a few examples of the outstanding students that we have here. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. E. Lee, the Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, who will now present the candidates for the master's degrees.
Thank you, President. Will all candidates for the master's degree please rise? President Harrison, from the College of Engineering and Computer Science, I present the candidates for master's degrees awarded in Computer Engineering, Computer Science, Electric Engineering, Engineering Management, Manufacturing System Engineering, Materials Engineering, Mechanical Engineering, Software Engineering, and Structural Engineering. And from the College of Science Mathematics, I present the candidate for master's degrees awarded in Biochemistry, Biology, Chemistry, Geology, Mathematics, and Physics. These candidates have completed the requirement for the master's degree as prescribed by the State of California and the trustees of the California State University, and they have been recommended by the faculty of California State University, Northridge. Candidates, please continue standing as President Harrison confers the master's degree upon you.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of the California State University, Northridge, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Biochemistry, Master of Science in Biology, Master of Science in Chemistry, Master of Science in Computer Engineering, Master of Science in Computer Science, Master of Science in Electrical Engineering, Master of Science in Engineering Management, Master of Science in Geology, Master of Science in Manufacturing Systems Engineering, Master of Science in Materials Engineering, Master of Science in Mathematics, Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering, Master of Science in Physics, Master of Science in Software Engineering, and Master of Science in Structural Engineering. with all of the rights, the honors, and the responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations. You may be seated. I now ask Deans Ramesh and Stenner to present their candidates for the baccalaureate degree.
Thank you, President Harrison. There are 9 disciplines represented by the graduates from the College of Engineering and Computer Science today. They are from the departments of Civil Engineering and Construction Management, Computer Science, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Mechanical Engineering, and Manufacturing Systems Engineering and Management.
And there are 10 disciplines represented by the graduates from the College of Science and Mathematics today. They are from the departments of Biology, Chemistry and Biochemistry, Geological Sciences, Mathematics, and last but not least, Physics and Astronomy. Will all the candidates for the baccalaureate degree please rise and remain standing? Okay, that's enough. President Harrison, I have the honor of presenting to you the undergraduate class of 2016.
Okay then. Upon the recommendation of the faculty of California State University, Northridge, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Biology, Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry, Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics, Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry, Bachelor of Science in Biology, Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Technology, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Bachelor of Science in Construction Management, Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Engineering Management, Bachelor of Science in Geology, Bachelor of Science in Honors in Physics, Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Bachelor of Science in Manufacturing Systems Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, and the Bachelor of Science in Physics, with all of the rights, the honors, and opportunities pertaining thereto. Congratulations, and please be seated.
Thank you, President Harrison. Members of the platform party and faculty will now offer congratulations to our degree students. I ask that the degree candidates please move to the platform as directed by the marshals. Please come forward as your name is read. You will be congratulated by President Harrison after receiving your diploma cover and certificate. Afterwards, please return to your seats as directed by the marshals, commencement staff, and ushers.
I ask that guests please help so that we may proceed in an orderly manner. We remind you that the aisles must be kept open and you are asked to stay in your seats until the end of the ceremony. And out of respect for our graduates and the safety of our guests, noisemakers are not permitted. Let me repeat that. Noisemakers are not permitted. Thank you.
Here we go. From the College of Engineering and Computer Science, I will now read the names of the graduates from the Department of Computer Science.
Deborah Jane Sinnott.
Robert Kolsky. Deborah Jane Sinnott. Kevin Moore. Ryan Chua.
Kitsis.
Stephen Kitsis. Pedram Parto. Nick Schaffsman. Amanda Watkins. Dongsen Chu. Nikisha Malrota. Bhagashri Parma. Sunny Dharma Shabai Desai. Chris Tufenkian. Andrew Isaac. Chi Hang Lin. Ryan Dabini. Aman Sharma. Megan Nick Parsa. Calvin Mong. Sahad Aldawari. John Tang. Abdullah Matsukfoda. Samir Yosef. Abdullah Ibrahim Al-Ranshidan. Christina Sarukanova. Justine April Poblete. Poblete. Benham Purnasser. Amar Al-Saraf. Alec Karamanian. Miguel Castaneda. Rolando Lagunda. Leslie Roldan. Ilya Benson. Benjamin Plotkin. Jonathan Castillo. Sean Jayacinta. Joseph Hoxie. Jupiter Papabulvong. Justin Bautista. Tatevik Sardarian. Mashahi Isozaki. James Vong. Armando Mestes Ventura. Ryan Duckworth. Michelle Ponseratia. Philip Zhang. Henry Vong. Ming-Chi Park. Ronaldo Martinez. Diana Perez. Jenna Sofia Dole. Justin C. Zheng Han. Don Ragas. Inderpreet Bling. Adar Goldman. Emmanuel de los Santos. Alex Simon. Miguel Diaz. Omar Gonzalez. Renan de la Cruz. Brandon Velos. Zahia Zahor. Abdullah Al-Rashid. Shiraz Yagazarian. David Avatikian. Surin Gurchian. Karen Teradonesian. Paulo Osuna. Daniel Hunt. Jesus Maran Perez. Ernie Ledesma. Hovig Shabazian. Alexander Hall. Benjamin DeLuzak. Daniel Smith. Andrea Rojas. Stefan Ng. Amir Saifi. Alexander Kolosnik. David Barsa. Luis Guzman. Navin Rowe. Mark Kaplan. Dragos Guta. Yeratef Borantes, no. Joshua Weiss. Stephen Pomerantz. John Covell. Edwin Salazar Herrera. Adam Lewis. Marco Yonker. Jamie Adel Dogum. Ibrahim Hayek. Alexander Markarian. Jeffrey Lima. Martin Tran. Cheyenne Panahian. James Del Nostro Jr. Alak Devkota. Gerard Palonis. Armand Texan. Alden Perel. Cheyenne Bodors Mary. Gerard Aguilar. Nathaniel Wilson. Edwin Portillo. Jaron Rowan. Christopher Schultz. Thomas Gentis. Jake Hanvey. Brian Dunham. Kira Anderson. Blake Davison.
Walter Salmani Nazlu. Anthony Sager. Noah Anderson. Kevin Lee. Now reading the names for the recipients of Civil Engineering and Construction Management. Aaron Nigerian. Nargis Majrou. Varan Sarkisian. Armin Farzaneh. Amir Jafarzadeh. Jesse Best. Stephen Weirs. Faisal Mardas. Ashkan Rajabi. Maury Britsky. Reem Hadid. Jason Nguyen. Patrick Basta.
Mizarkanian.
Taded Mirzakadian.
Tichejuan.
Glenn Kajeshian. Juan Sandoval. Juan Centeno.
You can kill.
Yu Kiang Kyo. Mel Anthony Lagunzad. Ruben Bessara.
Yesenia
Yesenia
Gomez.
Gomez.
Masud Rabazi.
Masood Razavi.
Mo Elias.
Mo Elias. Nicole Thompson. Celeste Lopez Estrada. Catherine Adrover. Anthony Lehman. Ivan Mendez.
Tanra.
Tanara Yapa. Stephen Meroz.
Jennifer Martinez.
Jennifer Martinez. Giancarlo Cosenza. Stephanie Sandoval. Kevin Alexander Fuentes. Joe Herrera. Janella Tobar. James Bell. Jose Ortega. Joel Plasencia. Kyle DiJamco. Cesar Palomino.
Van Valkenburg.
Kurt Van Valkenburg. Esvin Bardalis. Rigoberto Torres Canas. Kevin Liu.
Karim.
Karine Sampson. Christian Duran. Gabriel Monilla. Christopher Chavez. Raul Sarmenta. Rudy Galdames. Simon Lau. Kenny Cho. Jae-Soon Lee. Eric Bingham. Eric Bacani. Oscar Fuentes. Denrick Bautista. Nicole Benjamin. Meghedi Darabedian. Hebert Mahmoudi. Teres Gurerzar.
Rayana.
Jesse Arellano.
Christian Caban.
Christian Kabata.
Aaron Hardy.
Aaron Hardy. Ulysses Molina. Jesse Recinos.
Kilabjian.
Aaron Plilagian. Ilya Haddad.
Samadip Rondado.
Somadip Rondaho.
Abdul Hadi.
Fahed Abdul Ahadi.
Ashamari.
Salem Al-Shamari. Alan Lal.
Forest
Forrest
Papers.
Peepers. Hoda Al-Nema.
Alskeiran.
Mariam Al-Segran.
Mariam Al-Ali.
Mariam Al-Ali.
Khaled Al-Sanusi.
Khaled Al-Sasusi.
Salem Al-Julaibi.
Salem Al-Julaibi. Dina Rabati.
Aika Ali.
Shaika Ali.
Razan
Razan
Khalil.
Khalil.
Teresa.
Jeffrey Terzian. Anthony Telebian. Caroline Basma. Syed Suleiman Al-Khalaf. Barak Al-Bassam. Jonathan Hernandez. Floven Sanville. Alexander Fish. Zi Hao Ye. Khalid Al-Tawi. Abdullah Hassan Al-Gwenyan. Syed Al-Mari. Faisal Al-Nizi. Mutab Al-Shalahi. Fahad Al-Namshan. Tamer Balaharith. Absulam Al-Harbi. Afra Al-Yusuf. Sawada Zadorian. Amir Al-Mala. Golnaz Bastani. Shahad Al-Katan. Riyam Al-Sakir. Noor Shaikh. Abdullah Al-Rumiti. Dagger Al-Mara. Saud Asiri. Faisal Al-Malki. Isa Al-Janabi. Hamad Al-Muhana. Ali Al-Said. Mikhail Kayata. Ali Ismail.
Miriam Kibadi. Nasser Al-Hari. Khalid Al-Nuaimi. Daniela Virginia Brahms. Dinakar Seshar Sai Vishnu Monalka.
Okay, just follow here.
Ajay Krishna Radha Gopal.
Tirumalaseti.
Kirachandra Tirumalasetti.
Gadam. Okay, I think if you go up there.
Karishna Ravinder Gadam.
Pavani? Chintalapodi.
Pavani Chimtalapodi.
Okay, Balibuena.
Jai Mandeep Balibuena.
Devarala.
Mahesh Devarala.
Okay, Pritam Tumala.
Vikanta Printam Tumala.
Okay. Ramira, the top line.
Ramiro Garcia.
Top line.
Daniel Gonzalez Munoz. Miguel Hernandez. Albert Medrano. Carmen Cristina Gorobian. Savata Mizerkani. Adebayo Obanla.
Azoku.
Valentin Ozoku. Eric Bisman. Berta Rivera. Mati Vikovic.
St. Victor.
Alex St. Victor. Alejandro Rivera. Mitchell Michaelis. Alexis Moralia Geronimo. Aaron Sosedo. Andrew Hull. Rodolfo Mendez Cisneros. Neri Moritaya. Janima Kristen Hubagya. Now reading the names for the recipients of electrical and computer engineering. Naramin Aldawud. Arely Sofia Lopez. An Quinn. Malavika Hedje. Krishna Murti Katyana Ratamurtha. Chaitanya Boja. Nagalita Kurapati. Amar Surti. Maziar Bekradan. Akhilesh Sharma. Richard Wu. Jatin Ramani. Aditya Vadakar. Sagar Patil. Suvik Sama. Shorotit Hendry. Sachin Kashyap. Neil Sham. Prasana Akana. Dirhat Adesumali.
Archita Mandad, just the last.
Okay. Archita Reddy Mondadli. Sunil Nataragas.
Right?
Vikarasai Krishna Gondi. Wanku Lu. Mohammed Munibuddin Khan. Faisal Firoz Teba. Ishan Dolashati. Arod Hagiji. Melrod Amanadi. Lorime Gamboa. Manuel Valdez. Virgilio Senya. Carlos Sandoval. Walter Gonzalez. Jesus Delgado. John Kin Lee. Jesus Cruz. Diego Campos Garcia. Sarkis Samirjian. Andre Dawudian. Gary Arzumayan. Arvin Bagumian. Nejde Hartunian. Stephen Guzman. Paul Jessen. Joe Ruben Gonzalez. Samuel Gaxiola. Nicholas Van Stuyck. Daniel Rivera. Jose Baez. Alex Geronia. David Bates. Abel Melgar. Rogelio Placencia. Joseph Gomez. Edwin Raballo. Dennis La. Justin Mendoza. Nigia Tran. Ed Eric Duarte. Namra Wahid. Vioral Tonef. Vahejan Al-Ghazarian. Anita Azami. Edith Elyasi. Vahi Elyasi. Ramin Zakari. Zala Lofti. Mirbanu Farehi. Ehsan Hedapur. Jira Christine Conaigo Imperial. Todd Hurst. Joel Fischetti. Ken Hernandez. Heston Diego Jayasinga. Saad Armashed. Rashid Alajmi. Arman Harikian. Narek Abrahamian. Abdullah Al-Karhadi. Andre Villa. Yusuf Abdullah Kutab. Basim Bahmid. Rashid Al-Zarani. Ali Aldani. Ramez Amanyus. Benjamin Samuels. Govinda Burakoti. Arnesh Regmi. Otavio Martinez. Walter Antonio Aguilar Mendez. Hong Lee. Nereda Herrera. Gerardo Maron. Namat Shifa. Jonathan Rodriguez. Matthew Ingram. Devin Simmons. Antonio Martinez. Matthew Munoz. Jason Mendoza. Ravin Kiran Kaur. Tony Stevenson. Mustafa Bafa.
Mark Guapo Fadrakella. Philip Fadrakella. Jaime Lopez. Ahmed Rios. Joshua Brent Medders. Jean Corcus. Joshua Roth. Joel Chrysler. Saud Alotaibi. Fahad Abdul Wahid. Abdul Rahman Alothman. Al-Walid Al-Muhanna. I'm Daniel Abdul Khair. Ni Dromo Taike Yaboy. Mohammed Al-Hers. Vikash Pandey. Anish Velupalje. Sai Nirat Kanduri. Swarup Jalipeja. Puja Shiva Shankara.
Vina Vayakekumar. Sandiz Biharavale. Pavin Shimalindin. Ashwara Vingala. Tusaram Arza. Raul Gaiwad. Harish Bidjana. Sai Charan Singajoy. Vignesh Narakumar. Srinasa Vishnu Govardhanam. Chandra Sekhar Reddy Chakuru. Shrikant Visham. Venu Kumar Hadan Hosur. Sushma Malku. Ramatejna Dandalana. Pranita Madapati.
Okay, come on. Just,
Okay. Siri Lakishman Kalampriya Nabili.
just Mona Lisa Das.
Mona Lisa Das.
Okay, Shisa Kumar Donka.
Shisa Kumar Donka. Sumant Garapudi.
Gundla. Okay, Sridhar Gundla.
Sridhar Gundla.
Okay, Satvik Reddy Anagu, right?
Shatrik Reddy Anigu.
Reddy. Reva's Reddy.
Redath Reddy Tuman.
Raju, okay?
Chopa Narisma Raju.
Nimagada.
Nageshwar Nimokada.
Sri Harshash Tokala.
Shri Harash Tokala.
Okay, Alekia Ready to Party.
Akia Reddit to Party. Now reading the names for the recipients of Mechanical Engineering. Matthew Shea Hayes. Edward Kokayan.
Bottom line.
Michael Shaw.
Moini.
Navid Noini.
Zedelmer.
Michael Zeldemer.
Okay, top line.
Mario Lopez.
Pajapati.
Deval Prajapati.
Gauri Alkar.
Raul Guri Alkar.
Sampat.
Bhavin Sampat.
Okay,
Sidesh
Sidesh Sawant.
Sawat. Tuan Nguyen. Zheng Wu. Daniel Q. Nicholas Wise. Austin Davis. Vladimir Otonyev. Hovana Sadanyan. Daniel Wageshi. Richard Dinsmore. Caitlin Humphrey. Anthony Sarcello. Joshua Werner. Nicholas Antal Fidelis Highland. Christopher Thompson.
Ali Matrek Al-Hajri. Atman Alisfor. Fahad Al-Magait. Fawaz Alamil. Rachel Foreman. Robert Raymond Tim. Jose Sanchez. Alexis Amanda Marquez. Stephen Malumbi. Benjamin Bell. Bobby Valet. Angel Sevilla. Brian Albertine. Nami Taghavi. Jonathan Lowe. Mihan Keshishian. Nadia Engels. Brianna Landavzo. Joseph Maxey. Armando Lagunas. Nagme Melody Mojib. William Cornell. Kevin Matsuno. Nancy Nodal. Mallory Burr. Abdullah Aziz Aldaway. Mohammed Al-Kandari. Dora Chavez. Evelyn Gutierrez. Derek Mock. Sinue Contreras. David Arias. Heriberto Lopez. Carliana Verona. Greg Pechachachachachacan. Pablo Pastrano. Jesse Guerrero. Eric Melendez. Francisco Olvera. Francis Maniango. Jose Garay Lozano. Hector Avelar. Luis Garcia Davis. Raul Martel. Ruben Longoria. Antonio Martinez. Leon Kozlowski. Roland Avdalian. Devin Jansen. Zachary Stiegler. Travis Van Leeuwen. Anwar Alanese. Horizon Podel. Cynthia Sosa. Heriberto Garcia. Omar Qureshi. Ismael Moreno. David Sosa. Wilson Tang. Nimilolu Fawara. Elifalet Garcia. Roberto Ariola Ortiz. Evan Toriano. Salvador Rivas. Everardo Ramos. Nate Clapp. Ryan Bokor. Bubakar Sumari. Sadiq Lawal. Victor Falalulu. Maher Asadorian. Garo Dardarian. Delbert Stewart. Ricardo Martin. Leo Clemente Bislig. Joriel Peruganan. Stephen Toma. Joseph Ferrara. Catherine White. Scott Anthony Marino. Calvin Sislak. Jacob Orkin. Mario Solorzano. Alan Smith. David Meyer. Ryan Gomez. Erica Spiritu. Sean Michael Norris. Raul Montoya. Christopher Massoud. Gregory Thompson. Gino Alfonso Macaulay. Dosan Jenis. Parker Van Dyke. Murgadi Charabian. Joseph Lewis. Ricky Dinger. George Ortiz. Matthew Decker. Quichi Tang. James Chan. Rizal Podara. Mate Lopez. Francisco Tadeo. John Carlos Sotelo. Mohammed Charatia. Eli Balamanya. Faraj Alkutan. Ahmad Alanesi. Abraham Agopian. Hagop Murtikanian.
Ibrahim Alankawi. Ahmed Hamad Al-Hayla. Hassan Al-Saleh. Ali Dashi. Mohammed Al-Hers. Reef Hashlan. Mohammed Al-Dusari. Faisal Al-Tawid. Ahmed Abdullah Bakil. Khalid Al-Marzuki. Fahad Blaith. Mohammed Al-Lusani. Hassan bin Hamad Al-Asulati. Mohammed Al-Harbi. David Hernandez. Brian Herrera. Jalin Patel. Kabilan Prabhakar. Atinka Chawale. Dashat Kumar Patel. Deepak Kumar Singh. Sravata Sankath Mantufareshnu. Martuza Sayed. Jorge Garcia. Aman bin Sidhu. Abdulaziz Al-Rashid. Abdulaziz Al-Masood. Abdullah Atayab. Abdulaziz Abushi. Michal Al-Musaid. Abdulaziz Al-Musaid. Now reading the names for the recipients of Manufacturing Systems, Engineering and Management. Vinita. Divya Joshi. Gatan Rupneja. Joseph Luis Calderon. Jaleh Kapadia. Laukik Butala. Ishan Arola. Mikhail Ashtakar. Shashank Nepal. Ashwin Kumar Mosali. Ramesh Wais. Yasmin Asad Zadeh. Lawrence Masood. Sebastian Acevedo. Shin Lian Win. Fawaz Abdullah. Eros Neresian. Dylan De La Garza. Muhammad Abduella. Farhad Aljan. Mundir Alawahi. Rayan Musad Al-Turki. Farhad Alawaji. Latifa Ibrahim Al-Mofaded. Abdir Ahmed Arawashid. Balaki Natarajan. Ani Saras Navad.
Okay, say your name, honey.
Nakmik Pakaram. Sagun Shrestha. Karush Musari. Esfandia Bekud Mahamidi. Hissam Hamidizadeh. Mohammed Sabla. Hobi Kishkarian. Pavan Kumar Nan. Babak Samini. Shauja Fay. Michael Mora. Najavan Sandhu. Rodrigo Soltero. Haijin Kim. Abdulaziz Al-Maki. Turki Ibrahim Al-Bodabi. Laura Saldaryaga. Ahmed bin Mormar. Dar Sirbulovic. Rihaman Abdazaris Arab. Hassan Mirza. Ahmed Al-Mahud. Abdulaziz Al-Gizker. Tariq As-Salam. Musal Al-Rashid. Faisal Maki. Khalid Al-Takiri. Bandar Bulabid. Abdulaziz Al-Sibeh. Mohamed Al-Hussein.
Engineering
Oh,
manager.
th- Now, names from the College of Engineering Management. Navrin Teha Al-Fazin.
Penaroo.
Rakesh Peneru.
Akilish Yadaf Madedi.
Akilish Dwadad Madedi.
Okay, Bowinapali.
Kaushik Bawinapali.
Rajala.
Surikumar Rajula. Saricharan Madi. Bharat Nali. Sariti Mane. Samphun Songkun. Pakorn Nochinda. Nikil Kumar Mistry. Asad Syed.
Venkai Sushil Rao Ganamane. Suri Kiran Pamudorthi. Mohammed Wahaj Hanif. Najmus Sakib. Sami Mohammed. Ruth Reddy Marapadaga. Anjali Pundru. Lakita Tatigutla. Mudasir Khan. Praveen Kumar Reddy B. Sai Shushel Mullapudi. Abhinay Anumala Seti. Aditya Varma. Sharon Bashkar Kaluri. Natpi Bandari. Deepak Peddy. Nitish Reddy Sanagala.
No, actually, send over here, please. From the College of Science and Mathematics, I will now read the names of graduates from the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry.
Mantanona.
Alex Mantamona. Shayla Palikas.
Michelle Chan.
Michelle Chan.
Vasugian.
Kava Nasuvian.
Okay, Stephen Ruat.
Stephen Ruark.
Okay, Corey Bjorka.
Curry Bjorseth.
Okay, Bottom.
Win Lee.
Bottom.
Alan Michael Ching.
Melissa, top line.
Melissa Rodriguez.
Okay,
Misael Sanchez.
Okay, Rowan Chain, top line.
Rowan Jane Cervantes Odengo.
Fred
Fred Fragoso. Juan Camberos. Vasikaran Vijay.
Jeffrey Farm.
Jeffrey Fong.
Okay, bottom.
Benjamin Wu.
Okay, Lenkong.
Richard Lenkong. Kyle Tucker.
Okay,
Jorge Sandoval. Danny Lee. Frederick Farrar. Ryan Davis. Robert Cohen. Samuel Cohen. Amatit Nasoyan. Nilu Rahimi. Nin Nguyen. Miriam Jihasi. Nguyen Yu. Florence Akindi. Genevieve Nugar. Manjat Shargil. Now reading the names of the recipients of Geological Science. Kyle Johnson. Vincent Chow. Hannah Cohen. Brittany Huerta. Jeffrey Joseph III.
McGeehee.
Jonathan McGeehee. Christopher Martinez. Catherine Elliott. Christine Trong. Marco Chinchilla. Brian Castillo.
Lamont Kerr.
Nicholas Lamont Kerr.
Elahian. Rutherford Elahian.
Kyla Rutherford Elahian. Jennifer Rittenberg.
Okay, Yano.
Kashmir Liano. Brenda Rodriguez.
Elizabeth Vermontes.
Elizabeth Vermontes.
Ferrer.
Marianne Ferrer.
Ian Ruttenberg.
Ian Ruttenberg. Now reading the names for the recipients of mathematics.
Andrea Fidel.
Andrea Fidel. Melinda Paz. Kevin Manley. Alvaro Pineda.
Okay, Jennifer Morris.
Jennifer Force. Beverly Hernandez.
Okay,
Maria Markayan.
Savannah Petrosian.
Savannah Petrosian.
Asterik Tatushian.
Astelik Tatunshian. Nicole Freeman. Shahad Farahani. Jesus Baez. Pablo Chevarria. Fabiola Salgado.
Arsenio.
Diana Sarcenia. Raul Morales.
Okay, yep. Say your name, honey. Oh, well.
Eugenia Lahola. Go ahead.
Miriam Ramirez.
Miriam Ramirez. Alexis Carrero Castellanos. Bryant Cooper.
Schmedeke.
Ben Schmedeke. Jinji Kong. Jingyu Lu. Christopher McGrady. Jake Reschke. Matthew Levy. Xiao Yan. Hong Young. Jeffrey Labacher. Ramiro Garcia.
John Kawaringa. What's your name? Kawaringa? Okay.
John Kararinga.
Hosh Yu.
Hosh Yu. Juan Cruz.
Etabal. Is that right?
Etib Al-Wahawali.
Ghaffarian.
Melissa Ghaffarian.
Yemi.
Yemi Rivera.
Limon.
Garrett Limon.
Barsegian. Barderas.
Varderos Barsegian.
Biden.
Elliot Bayan.
Hernandez. Vote.
Gonzalo Hernandez Hernandez.
Alexandra Yep.
Alexandra Yep. Daniel Davies. Malcolm Jackson. Jesse Myers. Sean Snyder. Jonathan Acuna. Now reading the names for the recipients of biology.
Just top. Corpus.
Mark Rafael Corpus.
I want to say him again. I don't know.
Mark Rafael Corpus.
Grizel De Leon.
Grizel De Leon. Patrice Mead.
Archambault.
Jeremy Archambault. Catherine Dow.
Ring Tucker.
Alexandra Ring.
Shaheen Saremi.
Shaheen Saremi. Nina Sagregi.
Faraj.
Michelle Farage.
Kochar. Bottom.
Chris Garo Kochar.
Mamarian.
Neil Mamarian.
Chumian.
Rafi John Kekujiam.
Asani Nia.
Mohammed Asani Mian. Miles Anthony Kozlowski. Letty Morales. Jacqueline Joan Blanco. Grace Marie Castillo.
Okay, Amadou Bamba Nador. Perfect.
Amadou Bamba Nador. Courtney Lau. Garrett Tanaka Ari. Jocelyn Olmos. Lisa Ogullian. Cami Atkins. Hao Tran. Abel Contreras Castro. Melissa Berkowitz. Emily Brown. Shivani Patel. Jennifer Olson. Terence Sepikov. Cynthia Evangelista. Gary Christopher Molina. David Flores. Anthony Platten. Alisa McNeil. Elena Karapetian. Magali Rubio. Nadeja Ivanov. Kayana Lucero. Jessica Raquel Molden. Nadia Hadid. Lalage Madadian. Jesus Fandinho Jaime. Karapet Gudurgian. Ejamin Samarzian. Ivana Velez. Tina Lee. Lin Bui. Min Tran. Jacelyn Serrano. James Daniel Keeping. Hosep Sambulian. Argin Hartunian. Ricardo Castellanos. Adriana Martin. Abir Al-Dabud. Warwat Melkasian. Hanit Malzukian. Samantha Alman. Christina Goldie. Marvin Argueta. Adam Weisberger. Joshua Ochoa Leva. Venus Fan. Myra Mian. Go ahead.
Now reading names of graduates from the David Nazarian College on Business and Economics. Matthew Bridgeford. Puzant Barbarian. Stepan Hakirian. Maxwell Burrows. Aaron Hill. Jafar Naqvi. Omar Ali. Sam Kim. Matthew Benjamin Friedman. Pedram Hosseini. Yanif Grinberg. Andrew Player. Timothy Kem. Wendong Fu. Marvin Hamediyadani. Simon Hakimpur. Kevin Agapin. Hernan Hernandez. Faisal Alaskar. Sachi Suzuki. Abdulaziz Al-Harbi. Alex Goran Shitain. Najeen Rashidi. Now reading the names for recipients of biology. Armin Garibi. Luigi Vigil. Mai Fan. Tanya Kerbezian. David Quintero. J.R. Clark. Maureen Ho. Jennifer Smolensky. Shannon Bayless. Lorna McFarland. Alexa Muti. Leah Jacobs. Stephanie Bensman. Michael Shiras. John Yan. Neda Vishlahi. Lonnie Marie Hans. Samantha Hernandez. Amanda Choi Caballero. Michelle Voldiner. Felix Awaye. Brianna Alvarado. I see what you meant now. Samantha Garcia. Jennifer Martinez. Ariana Nuez. Rita Marie Bali. Haikuye Almajian. Gayan Huvanian. Kavea Nair. Sarah Sorazade. Rahem Abdelghani. Anila Huda. Justin Hansen. Patrick Campbell. Kevin Vera. Nicholas Stevens. Amy Kakupichapanich. Carlos Palacios. Armin Halajian. Aram Kapian. Azadui Ripchan. Sophia Garsavanian. John Lewandowski. Dorota Dabek. Kevin Illikul. Kirsten Puri. Nicole Marie Looper. Eliana Andrea Bolton. Nazila Farutan. Yesai Kirakosian. Annette Nazarian. Elani Uzunian.
Lena Mazmanian.
Lucine Vardanian.
Lucina Vardanian.
Sherry Tabak.
Sherry Tabak. Jennifer Song. Market Quintana. Cal Weeks. Gregor Obukovsky. Elizabeth Zorita. Rana Sadeghi. Leo Rostanian. Arman Khashoggian. Paulina Indibegian. Emma Colosi. Courtney Button. Sarah McLennan. Roman Nava. Jacqueline Recinos. Jebing Yang. David D.H. Kwan. John Daniel Garcia David. Sarun Kuswan. Ronnie Soto. Salvador Vasquez. Arlette Marial. Ryan Peterson. Hakog Manlevian. Martin Turgian. Sarkis Hamalian. Kevin Morales. Luis Lazo. Nayela Miranda. Emily Barrera. Yuriano Urea. Abril Galvan. Karen Pastrano. Aaron Alexander. Mara Batista. David Greenspoon. Harut Hakobayan. Haruk Hakobian. Varkas Sarkisian. Julian Cuevas. Maylene Cabrera. Krishna de Guzman. Jessica Marie Chen. Griselda Ferrato. Cristel Hernandez. Tyler Kawachi. Stephanie Lou Caron.
Bernardin.
Casey Bernardin. Basha Gala. Catherine Ka. Cedric Cuerpo. Erwin James Paulina Balgasa. Jonathan Ara Paserkian. Shira May Viste. Michael Villar. Sean Corkunian. Abelardo Alberto. Jeffrey Esparza. Erica Melody Mauricio. Daniel Haro. James Zard. Santiago Munoz Briones. Jesus Cabero. Henry Gabriel. Matthew Jaloyan. Pela Naboshikova. Julia Dorr. Justo Galicia. Nara Terzion. Daniel Jordy. Michael Shuzitsky. Varen Yosefian. Yasmin Kalo. Talal Mardurian. Sharzad Zand. Saya Benia. Sahar Izadi. Meline Babayan. Marguerite Tarosian. Saruni Pogoisian. Camille Polikar. Milicia Valen. Christina Musavi. Sam Serdou. Marissa Young. Cameron Van Dieren. Ronell Buck. Duhong Nguyen. Nicole Fuentes. Janine Gonzalez. Gerardo Mesa. Arshe Upa. Jai Kemp. Edward Napu Musema. And Danesh Nair.
All right. Settle down. We have 2 more things to do quickly and we'll be done. And then you can leave and celebrate. Will all of the graduates for the baccalaureate degree please rise? In academic tradition, the student who has not yet earned a degree wears the tassel to the right of the mortarboard. When the degree is confirmed, the scholar moves the tassel to the left and joins a select group of highly educated men and women. In recognition of your new status, will all recipients of the baccalaureate degree please move the tassel to the left? I welcome you to the alumni family of California State University, Northridge. Thank you, and please be seated for just a couple of more minutes. CSUN alumnus Ronald Blum will now officially welcome you to the California State University Northridge Alumni Association.
On behalf of the CSUN Alumni Association and more than 320,000 CSUN graduates, it is my pleasure to welcome you as official alumni of this fantastic university. Now each one of you may add the title of alumnus or alumna to your name. This is your day. You have worked long and hard and soared to new heights as a graduate of CSUN. We are honored to join with you, your family, and your friends to celebrate the pinnacle of your achievement. Today marks the beginning of a new and enduring relationship with Cal State Northridge. We encourage you to stay connected with CSUN as you continue your ascent to greatness. You will find many matadors out there, like myself, ready and willing to help you achieve your dreams. And in turn, we hope that someday you will aid the next generation to follow in your path. Congratulations and welcome to your new CSUN alumni family. We are so proud of you.
You might be interested to know that Ronald has a degree from CSUN in physics. He's also a screenwriter and has a new movie coming out, The Inquisitor, in a couple of months. I urge you to go see it, and remember, he got his degree here. So, now all you need to do, graduates, is to go out in the world, accomplish great things, come back and tell us about it so we can brag about you. To officially close this ceremony, I ask that all of our students, faculty, and CSUN alum rise for our university alma mater, Hail to the Matadors, under the musical direction of Professor Matt Harris, the Jazz A Band, and sung by Sarah Salazar. The alma mater is on the inside cover of your commencement booklet, should you need to follow along, but I'm sure most of you know all of the words. After the alma mater has concluded, please remain in your seat until the platform party and faculty have recessed. And we ask that all of our parents and guests please remain seated until the end of the recessional. Congratulations. Thank you.